Hello, my name is Michelle Rodriguez, and I will be talking about the coral reef bleaching of the coast of Puerto Rico. So, what is coral reef bleaching? Coral reefs obtain their beautiful colors by a photosynthetic microorganism called zooxanthellae. Reefs and zooxanthellae live in symbiosis, which means that they benefit from each other's existence and from each other's abilities. When this microorganism loses its pigments, the corals start whitening, and this is what we would call bleaching. This here is the photosynthetic microorganism, and what it means is that they can take the sun and turn it into nutrients. And the nutrients that this microorganism produces are the ones that the coral uses to survive. And in exchange, it gives a home to the zooxanthellae. When the abilities of the zooxanthellae are inhibited, this is what would happen to the coral and what is happening to the corals around the world. So why are coral reefs so important? Reefs are home to many different species. There are fishes, there are crustaceans, there are algae and microorganisms, and most of them we consume as food. Photosynthetic algae and microorganisms that trap CO2 live there. What is CO2? CO2 is carbon dioxide. It is one of the gases that is causing global warming. And what it means, these algae and these microorganisms that live in the coral reefs are trapping, and they use this and convert it to energy, which means it would mean less of this gas in the world because of this algae and microorganisms that live in the coral reefs. Some species that live there are also used in the medical field. They also function as a seawall during hurricanes. Especially in the north coast of Puerto Rico, there are few coral reefs around the island, but the most important ones are from the northeast coast, which is from where most hurricanes come, and they function as this barrier so that we don't have such strong tides. What is affecting the corals? The rising temperatures and unbalanced pH are some of the chemical factors of bleaching. The dumping of fecal matter and harmful oils can damage the corals. It can damage them in the sense of unbalanced pH or general chemicals. In Puerto Rico, one of the main factors is excessive fishing, and also the anchors that are dropped from those fishing boats are damaging the coral reefs, and most of the affected coral reefs are located in these shallow waters. They are affected because of the fishing and the anchors. So the hurricanes of 2017, we all suffered because of these hurricanes, but the coral reefs were some of the ecosystems that were affected the most As the natural barriers that they are, they function as a seawall. I mentioned this before. The abrupt wave movement caused by the strong tides snapped thousands of corals. There is a report made by FEMA that states that different federal, local, and nonprofit organizations have come together to restore and protect the coral reefs affected by these hurricanes. It started a few months after the two hurricanes hit. So how does the bleaching of corals affect us? Without the coral reefs, local fishing will be a challenge. Tourism in the island might be affected because of the lack of beautiful sea landscapes. The seawall function of the reefs, which is considered an important natural barrier, will be affected, and restoring the biodiversity might not be possible within a few years. Different organizations, federal, local, and nonprofit, are already working together to combat this environmental problem. There has been a number of petitions and funds for the restoration and protection of the coral reefs or of Puerto Rico. Some experts and scientists have come together to inform us about the damages that have been happening in the coral reefs of Puerto Rico. So what can we do to help? There are a few things that we can do as individuals, such as petition for coral reef protection, volunteer to clean the beaches and maintain the ecosystem, donate to organizations that work restoring the reefs, move your community to work towards environmental friendly activities, support local environmental groups, and vote. Very important to vote in favor of environmental change. Chasing Corals. Chasing Corals is a Netflix documentary released last year about the coral reefs located all around the world. This documentary gives us insight on the ecosystems and species living in it. It also shows the damage we have done and how we can stop it. There was a really big impact on the marine science community last year when the news about the Great Barrier, one of the biggest coral reefs in the world, was getting bleached. It's a coral reef in Australia, and it's a really important ecosystem, and it's being damaged, being bleached. There's over 70% of it already bleached, and there are people, the experts are saying that it is really hard to recover from that. Take action. This is the website for the Netflix documentary. I've put this here because there are a few tips and tricks that we can use from this. In here, it gives us a bit of an info about the film. A bit of info about the film and the social networks, and you can inform yourself But the most important part here is this: take action. In this page, you can educate yourself about the different things you can do to help the coral reef situation. You can host a screening of the movie. You can wake up the world, commit to action, engage students, pledge to vote, donate to campaigns and organizations. But the most important one, I think, would be this one. Gives us an action guide about things we can do as individuals. As individuals and as a community. Here, move your community to 100% clean energy, support coral reef preservation, and things that can create a bigger impact in a community. Share the visual evidence, become an ambassador, ask your leaders to support clean energy and clean jobs, commit to individual action, and join local efforts. I believe that together we can do something about this and help our environment